What's going on, people? I hope you're doing good. Today, I am very, very disappointed. I'm actually very sad because I'm about to review a movie that I was very, very over the moon to watch. I was so excited to watch this movie when it released. And unfortunately, it ain't that great. Him is the brand new movie by Justin Tipping and produced, not directed, by Jordan Peele, and it stars Tyriq Withers and Marlon Wayans, and this is a sports horror movie, which when I saw the concept for that, my interest immediately peaked, because you can do so many interesting concepts with that. And I saw the trailers for this movie, and I saw that Jordan Peele was involved with it, and I was like, yes, this movie is going to be sick, it's going to be one of the best of the year, this is going to be absolutely amazing. And then the reviews came out. Now, even though the reviews were very negative, I was still kind of intrigued because I'm like, okay, this movie could still be of an interest to me and I may still really like it. And I saw it a couple of days ago. I was absolutely so excited. I was so ready to be into this movie. And yeah, this movie is pretty disappointing. Now, first of all, I don't think this movie is as bad as people are saying it is. I've seen people saying this is the worst movie of the year. And I don't know what these people are smoking, because this movie does have some good things to it. However, even though this movie does have plenty of things to praise, it also has even more things that you can criticise. And my biggest issue with this movie is that it just doesn't know what it wants to be. And that relates to the characters, the story structure. Everything about this movie is just all over the place in terms of story and writing. Now, I do think there are some really, really good scenes in this movie, but they're just good scenes and there's no connective tissue to them. It's not the director came up with the ideas for these scenes, created them, and they're really, really good, but he didn't know how they would connect to the next scene and the grander story overall. For example, you see this in the trailer where our main protagonist is doing training, and then every time he misses a shot, a football gets fired into this guy's face, and it's really brutal and disturbing. And it was a really, really good scene. But when you look at it with the overall story, it just didn't really do anything. And that's the case with many scenes in this movie. There were scenes in this which I really, really enjoyed. I was like, okay, I wonder how this is going to relate to the next scene and the ending. It doesn't for the most part. There really isn't anything that happens in this movie that's of importance. But what I will give the director is that he did do these scenes really, really well. This movie isn't really trying to be frightening, even though it's a horror movie. It's just trying to make you uncomfortable. And I do think the director did a really, really good job at that, especially when it came to the blood and gore, because this movie can be very, very brutal. And I do think the director pulled off the brutalness really, really well. And as I mentioned, this movie doesn't know what it wants to be in terms of the story and the characters as well. It's very clear that he's trying to show a negative side of sport, which obviously go for it. It's a horror movie after all. Get disturbing 100%. But you've got to know what you want to show and what you want to suggest and what message you want to send to the audience. And there are some moments here which I was like, okay, that's the message he's trying to send. And he's trying to send these things with symbolism and metaphors. And I do think the symbolism and the metaphors in this movie were really, really good at times. They are very simple at times, like, for example, a contract is made out to be like making a deal with the devil. It's very basic, but it does work with the context of the movie. But overall, it's like the director said, okay, I want to send a message about this, about this, about this, about this. And there's just no core theme. There's no core message to send. So again, it feels like the movie is going all over the place. And the biggest example of this was the ending, which I absolutely hated. I hated the ending to this movie. It's one of the worst endings to a movie this year. It just came out of absolutely nowhere. And it defeats the entire point of this movie. And it was just so over the top, so goofy, which contrasts what we saw earlier in the film, which is like this slow, maddening film that's very creepy and trying to be very disturbing. And then it just turns into something like one of the worst Saw movies. And it was just so out of left field. Also, the ending to this film, and many other scenes throughout this movie, break the first rule of storytelling, Show don't tell. This movie tells you so many things which you just needed to show to get me invested. Why is Cameron Cade considered the next GOAT? What skills does he have? What makes him better than all of the other quarterbacks in the league? We don't know. We're never shown. Same with Isaiah as well. We see a bit of footage of him playing American football, but it's not enough. You really need to show, other than showing his trophies and all that, why he is the GOAT, why he is worthy of training Cameron. The ending of this movie also just straight up tells you what happened throughout the film. Things that should have been shown. A guy just literally stands up and just goes, oh, we did this to you, and then we did this to you, and then that led to this. It came off like a Scooby-Doo movie, where the villain's just telling the audience and the gang their whole plan. And it just felt so goofy and dumb. I also found this film very predictable, which is something I really shouldn't be doing with this type of film. This movie should be more like slow reveals throughout the runtime, putting the pieces in one by one. But it doesn't do that. As soon as a plotline is introduced with blood, I knew exactly where this movie was going. And lo and behold, it happened. But despite the plethora of issues that I have with this movie, I did still really enjoy it, and I do think it has its bright spots. Mainly, the cinematography. I think this is one of the best looking movies of the year. I really love the use of dark colours and the loads of neon throughout the film, especially red. Of course there's blood throughout the movie, but also the symbolic side of it. And I absolutely dug those shots where it looks like an X-ray and we can see inside people's bodies. I especially loved it in this one scene where two people collide heads and you can see the brains wobble and the skull shatter, and then you see a guy spazzing out, and oh, it was just so cool. I absolutely loved the way that this movie was shot. The sound design also helped with those moments as well, making the impacts feel harder and rougher, making you cringe and feel more uncomfortable. Oh, the sound design, the cinematography was just mwah. I also really dug the music in this movie. It's mainly licensed music, but I do think it fit the tone of this movie really, really well. And the original scores as well. They use a lot of strings and high-pitched notes, and it just really added this creepy tone to the movie. And finally, I do think for the most part, the performances were all really, really good. Tyriq Withers, though, was not that great in this movie. It's clear the guy has talent. I mean, he shows it a lot in this movie. But for the most part, I just thought he was pretty dry, especially in that scene where a guy's getting hit with footballs. He underacts. But the standout to this movie was Marlon Wayans as Isaiah. I absolutely love it when actors just go full psychotic and crazy. I just have the time of their lives, because it's so clear that he was so passionate about this movie and the role, and he gives it 110%. He can go from 0 to 100 in a heartbeat.
In this game, violence is rewarded, so learn to enjoy it.
Get your shit together!
Julia Fox is in this movie as well. Not as much as I wanted it to be, but still she's really, really good. Very crazy like Marlon Wayans as well. So for the most part, I really enjoyed the acting. So in conclusion, while Him does have its good moments, and it's nowhere near the worst movie of the year, it was still really, really disappointing. Like I said in the intro, I was so excited for this movie. The concept intrigued me. There is so much you could do with a sports horror movie. But this movie just didn't hit the heights like it should have. But even though this movie wasn't great, I can't say I was bored. Like, I was entertained throughout. And as I said, it does have its really strong scenes, but it's just not that great. And that is really, really upsetting for me. So Him is unfortunately going to receive a 5.5 out of 10. And people, that is the end of this review. If you have seen Him, do let me know your thoughts on it. Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day, and see you later.